My name is Andrew Theobald, and I am the author of Dangerous Enemy Sympathizers, Canadian Internment Camp B, 1940 to 1945, published by Goose Lane Editions and the New Brunswick Military Heritage Project. I am deeply honored to have my work shortlisted for the 2020 Democracy 250 Atlantic Book Award for Historical Writing. The history of Canadian Internment Camp B is both little known and extremely fascinating. The camp was located near the small village of Ripples in central New Brunswick, just between the capital city of Fredericton and the provincial coal mining centre of Minto. There were two distinct phases in the camp's history. In the first, if you can believe it, the camp incarcerated Jewish refugees, mainly from Germany and Austria. These individuals had first found temporary refuge in Great Britain, but after the fall of France in 1940, the British government, fearing that these people were in fact loyal to the same Nazis that they had fled, transported these individuals to New Brunswick and imprisoned them behind barbed wire. After most of the Jewish refugees were released in 1941, the second stage of the camp involved the incarceration of actual dangerous enemy sympathizers. Those men included homegrown Canadian fascists and German merchant mariners. The excerpt I'm going to read from the book involves the most storied escape attempt from the camp, involving these two individuals. Well, you can see that?
Yeah.
Tullio Festa and Cesare Librano, two Italian sailors. On the afternoon of July the 6th, 1944, Tullio Festa and 33-year-old Cesare Librano, formerly a stoker in the Capo Noli, took advantage of a thunderstorm to bolt from a bush working party just north of the internment camp. With one corporal watching over the 5-man work party, the guard promptly returned to the camp with his 3 other internees and sounded the general alert. Veterans Guard soldiers knew the local woods intimately, but although the two had been reported missing within 20 minutes of their disappearance, and search parties rapidly deployed, the escapees could not be found. After failing to locate them in the immediate vicinity of the camp that evening, the military and the RCMP launched an intense search that received lurid coverage in the local press. A civilian spotted Festa and Librano the next morning at 7 o'clock near the Little River Bridge. With such a strong tip, it seemed that the Mounties would soon have their men, but, to the shock of the local populace and eager newspaper readers throughout the province, the escapees continued to evade capture. The rumors of their whereabouts continued to spread until Bertram Muriel Fulton, the Grand and Maquapit Lake Rural Telephone Company operator for the Ripples area, spotted the escapees on Thursday, July the 13th, walking along the Fredericton and Grand Lake Coal Railway line at 2:40 p.m. As Mrs. Fulton later told the author Ted Jones, quote, "I was outside hanging clothes on the line and talking to a young neighbor from next door. I looked up and saw 2 strange men coming across the tracks." The escapees had just bought food at Charles Owens' general store and were about to return to the relative safety of the woods with their supplies. Instead, when confronted on the bank of the Little River, Festa and Librano surrendered to Corporal Donald Carroll and Constable Ford Croner of the Minto RCMP. The Daily Gleaner's July 14th special coverage reported, quote, "When recaptured by the police, the prisoners seemed to be plentifully supplied with food and apparently had intended to remain away from the camp for as long as possible. It is believed they have been hiding in the woods and, apart from some mosquito and fly bites, had apparently suffered no ill effects from 8 days' stay in the open." Festa and Librano enjoyed over a week of freedom, but despite their determined preparations and Festa's previous escape experience, they were ultimately stymied by the camp's remote location. Hunger and black flies drove the escapees out of cover and forced them to move during the day, ultimately to reveal themselves to vigilant locals. In the end, the most successful escape from the Ripples internment camp involved internees who were unable to get farther than the village of Ripples itself. Yes, that was the most successful escape attempt in the history of the camp, but it is extremely difficult to escape from nowhere. That's just one of the many vivid and humane stories that are featured in Dangerous Enemy Sympathizers, which looks at the camp not only from the perspective of the people who were imprisoned, but also their guards and, of course, the local population. Thank you very much.